Welcome, dear listener, to another night of grisly tales from the county of Croatoan. Welcome to Croatoan Radio. A listener of the show submitted a rather strange story from the city of Sleepy Eye, Minnesota. See, while running around their lake, she witnessed an entity emerging from the water. This is her story, embellished somewhat, but if you submit your story, expect it to be. So, thank you to Mary, looking to share her encounter with the metaphysical, looking to share her touch with Croatoan County. Life in Sleepy Eye is as rural and relaxing as its name is unusual. While some towns pride themselves on industry and education, Sleepy Eye takes pride in being one of the few cities left where children explore freely on bikes. Surrounding farmers commute to auction their wares, trade their services, and where women feel safe jogging through the city at night. As the blistering days of summer heat sputter to cool nights, as the maples and oaks chlorophyll production slows, revealing autumn's yellowish greens, brash golds, and fiery oranges, a spirit of excited preparation and love for the changing of seasons is palpably felt in the bones of its residents, one of which returned home from college for familial support, to help her mother through the difficult season and bring her family's decades-old boxes of Halloween decor down from their attic. "Mom, you didn't get rid of the skeleton, did you?" Mary's mother leaned from the kitchen, wooden spoons still slicked from bubbling chicken noodle soup, filling the home with tongue-tantalizing warmth. "Was it the one with the crack in its ribs?" "Mom," Mary slid with slight disapproval, yet no willingness to chastise her loving mother making their dinner. "It's supposed to have a crack. It's a skeleton." No, not one of those cracks that come with the skeleton. The rib that came off after it hit the thing." "The thing?" "Yes, the porch's..." "The pillar?" "No, what's above it?" "Oh, Mom, the ceiling?" "Yes, the wind was so bad it flipped off and smacked the ceiling and... Well, what would the neighbors think?" Mary couldn't stop herself from smiling. "You know what, Mom? I'll go grab us another skeleton tomorrow. I think I saw one at the thrift store." "Oh, that's a great idea. Here, before you go, take $5. "Well, I'm not leaving now, and..." "I know, that's why I said before you leave, whenever that is." "And..." "Don't worry about it, Mom. It's probably a little more than $5 anyway." "Mary, even though your father is... well..." Janice, the 50-year-old woman, thin, active at her Presbyterian community, women's groups, and her lifestyle devoted to charitable services, slowed down long enough to catch herself. "Well, I can still pay for things. I appreciate you being here, but I can take care of myself." Mary's eyes looked to the boxes of unopened Halloween decor. They weren't heavy, but her mom wasn't physically strong either. Her health had deteriorated. She had become much thinner, varicose veins and wrinkles more prominent. "Look, Mom, I know you can take care of yourself. I just want to be here for you. It's been difficult." "Are you still having those dreams?" Mary looked away, body language betraying her words. "Not as much. I'm getting 8 hours, which is good." Janice leaned forward, slipping her hand under Mary's, the touch returning her head back to face her mother's. "I'm struggling too. I still drive to the soup kitchen, but I drive around the convenience store. I still go to church, but I don't stay there very long after. I still kneel, but I can't bring myself to pray." Mary gripped her mother's hand tighter, eyes welling. She looked down, but didn't hide her face. "I'm trying to forgive. I'm trying. But all I feel every time I think about... I feel angry." Mary wanted to hold her mother, wanted to urge her to talk more, to heal. but the effort seemed too great a hill to climb. Instead, in a weak, tired voice, purposely devoid of emotion, she said, "Me too, Mom." Janice, teary-eyed, nodded and returned to the kitchen, the volume of her afternoon cable talk show rising. Mary turned back to her own task and picked up the 600-foot spool of lights. Walking out to the porch, she climbed to the top of their ladder and began hooking the lights to the eaves. For several minutes, she worked till she felt a presence behind her. "How's the master degree been?" Startled by the sudden voice, her ladder wobbled till the voice's hands stabilized it. Looking below, her best friend beamed up at her. "Oh, Kathy!" Screaming with glee, Mary hooked the coil to the top of the ladder, gingerly descending. Though it had been a year since they last saw each other, the old friends embraced tightly, just as they did in kindergarten. "It's been forever." "It really has. Geez, how long has it been?" "Oh, well, probably since my dad's... yeah." Arms folded, rubbing her shoulders. Realizing her stance and the uncomfortable weight of her thoughts, Mary stuck her hands in her pockets and breathed deeply, using the influx of fresh country air to outwardly inflate her mood, desperately fighting to return it to their celebratory greeting. "Say, it's been a long time. Do you, want to catch up over some hot chicken noodle?" "Your mother's fabulous recipe? Of course." They smiled, held each other once more, then walked into the house. Afternoon darkened quickly, the hours of daylight thinning unexpectedly while engrossed in their reconnection. "Oh, it's been so good to see you, Catherine." "Oh, it's always good to see me, but it's a real treat when you come back to visit." "Yeah, thanks. Well, it's been fun, Kathy. I guess I should get back to putting up the decorations." "Oh, come on. The night's still young. Why don't we, go on a run or something?" Scrubbing from the kitchen paused, her mom's voice yelling. "Oh, nonsense, Mary. Spend some time with Kathy." Catherine tilted her head to one side, gripped the edges of the table, shaking slightly as though she were hanging on to Mary's response. Mary rolled her eyes and raised her hands in defeat. Okay. Kathy jolted upwards, mock stretching. "Have you even jogged? Or has all that time been spent in your books?" "Of course I've kept active." "I didn't ask if you've kept active." Mary squinted, mouth flattened in mock incredulity. "Make your faces all you want. We're gonna get your blood pumping. Now, let me grab my running shoes and, wear something a little less Daria-inspired." At Mary's face now feigning aghast hurt, Kathy laughed and ran out the house. Catherine was correct. After 8 blocks, Mary was struggling to keep up. Running from her home to the lake didn't seem like that big of a deal. It wasn't, when they were kids. "Come on, keep up." "I'm 30 next year. Give me a break." "Oh, gross. You're so old." "You're going to be 30 next year, too." "Oh, do you want me to leave you behind?" Mary laughed between heavy breaths, taking small comfort in her jab at the expense of another portion of energy she wouldn't get back. 3 blocks later, they reached the lake's beach. Gassed, Mary peeled off and sat at one of the beach benches, using her hand as a fan to cool her sweat. Next to her, Kathy jogged in place. "Geez, old woman, you really are out of shape." "Hey, you better start being nice to me. I'm gonna be rich and famous one day." "Rich? Sure. Famous? Not with that figure." Mary shook her head and looked out at the lake, its water melodically lapping against the shore, mellowing her heaving chest. Kathy checked her watch, then started lapping the bench. "Look, I've got another couple of miles in me. How about you wait here, and by the time I get back, we can run back to your place. How does that sound?" Mary nodded, pausing her fanning to wave Kathy away. Shortly, Kathy's steps faded into the distance till there was no sound left but the beating of her heart and the lake. The lake. Her father would take her here several times a month, fishing some days, other days just to lay in the sun, de-stressing from the week. He would work on his crossword. She would read what she got from the book fair. No matter where she went, her town, her home, the market, the lake, she saw him, guiding her, being her rock. And now that he was gone, it hurt. The sounds of a gentle, morose, blanketed violin drifted across the clear, moon-shimmered waters. Like the evocation of a memory, the tune transcended frequency, pushing waves against the shoreline in staccatoed permanence. Mary's mind enthralled, her soul bewitched. In the distance, the arrow of an inexorable wake approached, silencing the waves, leaving the waters behind it, a calm mirror-like surface reflecting the night sky perfectly. As it approached, pure white luminescence first trailed, then rose, thickly draped from a soft bubble, solidifying as it continued to rise. Two pale green eyes, angular upturned nose, bright freckles, thin blue lips. Her form continued, her feminine shape completed, as she reached the shore several feet from Mary, first floating, then taking a tentative step onto the land, her contact with it muting her brilliance to shadowed skin in a creeping progression across her body. Mary sat in apprehensive awe, the eerie stringed symphony fading with each step the entity took till it sat at her side. My child, such pain. It called to me. Why do you feel it so? The lake entity's words struck subconscious chords, begging for Mary to offload her troubles. Still, internally, her defenses held, the dam cracking, yet still holding against her soul, swollen with sorrow. Who are you? The entity crossed her legs and looked out to the lake. I am the spirit of these waters. Over the centuries I have seen much sorrow, first in the fish that would dart across my breath, then the animals that would drink from my shore, then the people who would eventually settle, and the people who would displace. Each creature's emotions, all equally important, some more potent. I learned I could act as a conduit for it, and so I do, to this day, as long as your people allow my waters to exist. Mary consciously decided she was dreaming. Oh, is that all? The spirit chuckled. Not quite, but also yes. So please, indulge me. Why do you feel such pain? Mary looked down, picking at nothing from beneath her nails. Oh, come on. This is a dream, after all. The first in a while that hasn't been about your father's death. Talk to me. Well, the dam to her soul shook. Deciding it was best she lower it on her own terms instead of holding it till an inevitable flood, she acquiesced. My father passed away a year ago. He was everything to us, and it still hurts. Mary's head lowered. Small streams of tears trickled from the corners of her eyes. The lake spirit brought a finger up to her cheek, absorbing the liquid, returning her fingers to an ethereal state, but for a moment. Oh, Mary, I've known you since you were born. Your parents, and their parents. Death is a natural part of life. What makes it hurt so? He was murdered, shot at the gas station because he wouldn't hand over his wallet. How natural is that? The spirit's face hardened, becoming older, wrinkles and folds etching themselves as her wisdom surfaced. In humans, very natural. I've seen settlers and previous inhabitants slaughter each other, and the previous inhabitants slaughtered those before them, and so on. The cycle of violence in these lands are much older than your father's kindness, the love he shared, his abhorrence for violence. That was unnatural. The wind picked up across the lake, bringing with it the violin, and now incoherent whispers, familiar, phantasmic words spoken in the distance, passing through, slowing her heart. The lake spirit stood between Mary and the moon, its light passing through her skin, the veins and musculature of her body transforming. It's time you and your mother healed. To you, dear daughter of Sleepy Eye, I give the gift of catharsis. What do you mean? The world darkened. Details of Mary's reality vanishing, pulled outward into the horizon till she stood, facing the spirit's morphing physiology, growing slightly taller, arms and legs gaining muscle, jawline hardening, sprouting dark stubble, features more familiar till she stood below her father. He was large, or perhaps she was small. The confusion of the shift in perspective masked the changes in the environment as she now stood in the hallway to her father placing breakfast on the table, her home dressed from head to toe in Halloween decor. From behind her, she could hear Janice yawning. Her father, bags under his eyes, faked a surprised look, pointing a spatula to the black and orange tinsel draped around the ceiling's edges. "Guess who visited last night?" Mary blurted out. "The Great Pumpkin!" Her father widely grinned, running over to the TV, shoving an orange VHS tape into it, the Charlie Brown Halloween special, playing after some static. "That's right, the Great Pumpkin put up all these decorations, cooked this beautiful breakfast, and he did it all in one night." Mary felt the potency of her childhood excitement, hopping into her chair, shoveling eggs and bacon, watching the TV, all while her father sat next to her, beaming at the fantasy he successfully cultivated, the wonder he could afford her. Mary turned away from the television to look at her father, whose face swirled, reforming into someone harsher, stubble growing to a greasy beard, hair lengthening, face more hollow, harrowed. The excitement, the joy, dissipated, and Mary grew in size, eye level. The dining room, now the register at the gas station convenience store. She felt anxious, yet calm, filled with purpose. The greasy man's gun wasn't pointed in her direction. Now was the time to strike. She lunged at him, trying to wrestle the gun away, but he was younger, stronger than expected. The gun jolted downward, a loud pop following. Her stomach erupted in unbearable pain, her face barely able to vocalize it. Several more pops followed, her vision dimming further with each successful tear through her center mass. Landing on the floor below her assailant, he knelt, spat on her face, then put a barrel to her head, flashing a blinding white light. After what felt like an eternity, the light faded. The spirit's voice echoed around her. "To you, dear daughter of Sleepy Eye, I give the gift of catharsis." The man who shot her, she now recognized as the man who shot her father, stood there, back turned, clothed now in an amorphous orange jumpsuit. There's no setting, no space, no time, just fear blending with anger, simmering to a decisive, sharp edge. A sharp edge that appeared in her right hand. She heard him speak away from her, not acknowledging her presence. Vocal cords washed in a tobacco spittoon. Breath rancid, teeth surely yellowed and rot. His vile voice echoed round her like the spirit's voice did before, loudly bragging. I killed him. I killed him because I liked it. I thought he could take me, but he was wrong. And one day, I'll be back out. Sure, I'll be older, but your mother will still be alive. Mary felt the sharpened shiv in her hand, a plastic toothbrush, its handle filed to a point. His voice soured further, deliberately provoking. I killed him because he was weak. Stop. You're weak. She gripped the makeshift knife, hand whitening. Stop, please, just... I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do to your mother when I get out. First I'll... Her brain refused the reality where he finished that sentence. Instinctually, uncontrolled, quickly, she walked forward, plunging the plastic point into his back between the ribs. A brief pause followed, his head thrashing in shock. She held it still by hooking her right arm around his neck. Looking down at her bloodied hand, still grasping the toothbrush, she expected to feel despair, shame, anything. However, what she felt was how easy it was, how his soft lower back invited her hand to repeat the process, for which she obliged till she found herself kneeling over him, his face flattened on its side, like a fish out of water gasping for air, praying for mercy. Mary felt no obligation to answer his prayers, continuing to stab downwards till several loud pops tore copper through her body, pain shrapneling at fractures in her bones, waking and returning her to the bench. Life filled her once again, the cool lake air, her blood hurtling through her veins, shaking her frame, causing her to leap upwards and scream. Whoa, Mary! It's okay, it's just me. Kathy. Yeah, I just woke you up. Must have been quite a nightmare. Did you see her? Catherine worriedly looked around. See who? The lake spirit. She was here. She sat next to me. Catherine's worried look didn't fade. Jeez. I don't know what your mom was putting in that chicken noodle, but I hope my dreams aren't like that. Mary looked out at the lake, still shimmering, still normal. Just still. Shaking her head, she rubbed her face with the palms of her hands, muffling her voice somewhat. Oh, it felt so real. It was crazy, but it felt so real. We talked about Doug, but then it got real weird. I mean, at first it was great. Doug was making us breakfast like he always did on the first, and I can say his name. Kathy cocked an eyebrow. I can. He died. Doug died, and I mean, I'll miss him, but that's okay. Everything feels okay. Mary hugged Kathy tightly, surprising, yet causing her to reciprocate with a tighter embrace. Hey, Mary, whatever happened, I'm here for you. Let's just get you home. Mary's night passed uneventfully, peacefully, her dreams devoid of fear, an impression of sweetness as her eyes cracked open. She awoke much later than she normally would have, the sun's rays casting 4 amber squares through her curtains. Yawning loudly, she walked out of her old room, down the hallway that was just a hallway, to the kitchen with photos adorning it, many of them with Doug. She smiled. It was good to see his face, his remembrance bringing some small measure of peace that stayed as she grabbed the milk from behind the door and began preparing some cereal. From the other room, she overheard her mother on the phone. Well, thank you for letting me know. Yes. Yeah. You too. Bye. Mary sat at the table, rubbing the sleep from her eyes. Oh, who's that, Mom? She stood, lost in thought. Mom? Oh, yes. Well, apparently Doug's murderer was just killed in jail. Mary froze. Did they say how it was done? Oh, do you really want to know all that? It's just all... Mom, how did he die? He was stabbed by another inmate. He was dead by the time they got there. They shot his killer. They didn't say whether he died or not. Mary sat, full spoon, hovering, the Rice Krispies pops making the silence louder. Janice turned to the Halloween boxes, straining, yet still lifting them onto the couch. You know, I've been doing everything I can to try and forgive him, like the Savior would, but I just couldn't. Now, I know after they die isn't the moment to, but still I feel like I can now. Like a weight's been lifted, you know? Mary robotically nodded in response. She didn't feel anything. Should she feel something? Why couldn't she feel anything? I think I'll get started on the decorations. Are you still going to the thrift store? The bowl of cereal didn't seem so appetizing anymore. Leaving it on the table, she walked to her mother and hugged her tightly. Sure thing, Mom. I'll pick up the skeleton. I love you. Janice held her back. You know, Doug may not be here, but you're so much like him. I feel like he's watching over us, and this morning I had the distinct impression that the Holy Spirit was watching over us too. Now, get ready. If we don't get the decorations up, well, what would the neighbors think? Mary released her hold, smiled, and walked down the hallway. Once away, her smile leveled. Under her breath, Mary whispered, "If only it was holy, and I was more like Dad." Dear listener, Mary's touch with the bizarre and metaphysical both healed and scarred her, blessed and cursed her. From one perspective, a just reciprocal act of vengeance. From another point of view, the unsure denial of having used the supernatural services of a spirit rationalized as a dream. It gave her an easy answer, suturing Mary's and her mother's open wounds. Wounds they refused to heal themselves because the thought of forgetting Doug hurt, yet they couldn't speak his name. If Mary couldn't rationalize and accept his death to begin with, it's certainly understandable she'll have some difficulty doing the same after indulging in the death of her father's murderer, after passing through Croatoan County. Thank you for listening. Please give the video a like, share, and subscribe for more tales from Croatoan County. If you have your own stories of the bizarre and metaphysical, please submit them to be featured on Croatoan Radio by emailing croatoancounty@gmail.com. Thank you, and to all my night shift listeners, if you see a spirit rise from your local waters, I would exercise caution. Remember that positive experiences in Croatoan County are rare. Don't assume it'll help you.